Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing absolutely fine. So today we'll be doing a topic of FMT, which is thermal injuries. It is a read along with me session. Okay, so let us begin. Thermal injuries. Keywords: burns, scalds, thermoregulation, hypothermia, heat cramps, sunstroke, frostbite, trench foot, epidermal burns. Rule of 9, very important. Pugilistic attitude, soot particles, carboxyhemoglobin. Introduction. Thermal injuries are injuries due to heat and cold. Thermal injuries are as a result of the systemic and or localized effects of excessive heat or cold. The factors determining the effect of heat are temperature, the intensity of heat, the duration of contact of heat on the body. According to Mortis and Henry, is the lowest temperature that could produce burns was 44 degrees Celsius and the time required was 5 hours, whereas at 60 degrees Celsius only 3 seconds are required to cause localized burns. Discuss the mechanism of thermoregulation. There is always a delicate balance between heat production and heat loss. Internal body factors: the amount of heat generated by oxidation of metabolic products. Internal factor: environmental heat from the sun. External factor is influenced by moisture content of the air, wavelength of the light, spectral distribution, absorption or by ozone layer. Heat loads results from combination of both internal and environmental factors. Whenever a heat load exceeds the heat loss, the temperature of the body rises. The dispersion of heat takes place mainly by sweating and vaporization from the respiratory passages. When the body is exposed to high temperature, there is vasodilation of the blood vessels of the skin due to inhibition of sympathetic centers in the posterior hypothalamus. When the environmental temperature increases to a point beyond loss of temperature by convection and radiation, results in sweating. Temperature varies in different parts of the body. The inner body temperature always remains constant, except for the individuals develop fever. The skin temperature rises and falls with the temperature of the surroundings. The average body temperature is 98 degrees Celsius to 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. When 98 to 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. When measured orally, it is higher by 1 degree when measured rectally and lower by 1 degree when measured under the axilla. Classify the thermal injuries. Discuss the systemic effect of heat. Thermal injuries are either effects of heat or effects of cold. Effects of heat: generalized effect, heat stroke, heat cramps, and heat exhaustion. So this is a mind map. Classification of thermal injuries: heat and cold. Heat: systemic effect, local effect. Systemic effect: heat cramps, heat syncope, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, sunstroke. Local effect: dry heat burns, wet heat scalds. Cold: systemic effect, hypothermia. Local effect: frostbite, trench foot, immersion foot. Localized effects of burn: burns due to dry heat and scalds due to wet heat. Effects of cold: generalized effects, hypothermia. Localized effect, frostbite, trench foot, and immersion foot. Systemic effects of heat: heat cramps, painful spasm of involuntary muscles, especially extremities and abdominal wall. This is due to loss of water content and sodium chloride ions from the body, as in severe dehydration. Heat exhaustion: this is due to an inadequate replacement of water and salts lost in perspiration due to thermal stress. Usually occurs after several days of exposure to high temperature. In this condition, body temperature does not exceed 102 degrees Fahrenheit. The symptoms are tiredness, increased thirst, headache, irritability, subjective feeling of exhaustion and incapacity to work, heat, sweating, fainting, and peripheral vascular collapse. Heat syncope, heat collapse. It is due to the loss of vasomotor tone in resulting in peripheral pooling of blood, usually in the lower limbs due to dilatation of blood vessels. This is an introduction to blood flow to the heart. There is hypotension and reduced blood supply to the brain. Commonly seen in soldiers standing for a long time in parades under the hot sun. Recovery is usual. Heat strokes, sunstroke. It results in absence of sweating, increases in body temperature to 106 degrees Fahrenheit or more. Onset is acute or sometimes insidious. The skin is flushed, hot and dry. Pulse will be rapid, threading, and BP may be normal or reduced. The individuals may suffer neuromuscular paralysis. Death is commonly due to low BP or disseminated intravascular coagulation (DIC). Discuss about hypothermia. Write the short notes on trench foot and frostbite. Pathophysiology of hypothermia. Temperature of peripheral parts of the body varies from time to time depending on the atmospheric temperature, but the inner core temperature of the body is always maintained constant by thermoregulation and controlled by thyroid hormone and muscular activity. Heat production and heat loss are influenced by blood flow to the skin and sweating. Clothes covering the body may also play an important role in regulating the body temperature. Role of skin in thermoregulation. When the skin is exposed to cold temperature, there is contraction of blood vessels, resulting in lowering the surface temperature and conservation of body heat. This produces a feeling of chill. Continued exposure results in injury to the superficial surface as well as loss of body heat. Thermoregulation by lungs. Lungs are one of the major sources of heat exchange. During the process of respiration, equilibrium is maintained between body and temperature and the external environment. Therefore, continued breathing of cold air results in a massive loss of body heat, which leads to lowering of the inner body core temperature. Phases of hypothermia. First phase. No clinical significance. Rectal temperature is between 90 and 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. Feeling of cold and shivering is present. Responds well to simple resuscitation measures. Second phase. Rectal temperature is between 75 and 90 degree Fahrenheit. The subject is depressed. There is progressive fall in pulse, BP, and respiration. Sense of shivering ceases below 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Third phase. Rectal temperature is below 75 degree Fahrenheit. Temperature regulatory center ceases to function and there occurs progressive cooling. Survival is dead at this phase. Temperature difference of 10 degrees Celsius between the core body temperature and the atmosphere is enough to cause hypothermia. Alcohol and hypothermia. In cold atmospheric temperature, consumption of alcohol produces vasodilation, resulting in the heat generation, which in turn lowers the inner core temperature of the body. It results in consumption of more and more alcohol to keep oneself warm. There will be impairment of judgment and loss of risk sense. Mechanism of death in hypothermia. As the body core temperature falls, there is progressive decrease in the dissociation of oxyhemoglobin, which leads to reduced oxygen supply to the tissue. This in turn depresses the oxidative processes in the tissue and results in stagnation of blood, leading to tissue hypoxia, stagnant hypoxia. Death is due to circulatory collapse. Autopsy finding depends on the intensity of cold and the duration of exposure. External findings. Body surface is usually pale with irregular dusky red patches of frost erythema, particularly on the exposed part, large joints and extensor surfaces of the body. Postmortem staining is usually pink in color and extremities are cyanosed. Frostbite. Frostbite is localized effect of the cold due to impaired local circulation as a result of exposure to freezing temperatures -2 degree to -8 degrees Celsius. Signs of vital reactions like erythema, swelling, and the indurations can be seen around the involved surface. Exposure to extreme cold temperature results in sudden vasospasm, ischemia, and localized necrosis beyond the lines of inflammatory demarcation of the tissues. Occurs in the exposed part of the body such as ears, nose, and extremities like toes and fingers. Trench foot. Prolonged exposure of the extremities to cold, non-freezing temperature 5 degree to 8 degrees Celsius for many hours leads to trench foot or immersion foot. Blister formation and localized dry gangrene formation occurs typically seen in soldiers in winter warfare, especially in trenches and in persons exposed to prolonged immersion and exposure to cold seawater. Internal findings. Internal findings are predominantly due to avascular necrosis. Subcutaneous tissues are relatively avascular and blood, if present, is often bright red in color. Multiple GIT. Multiple patches of acute submucosal hemorrhages may be seen in the stomach and duodenum. Appears dark red due to presence of altered blood. If the individual survives, the mucosa over the hemorrhages may slough out, leaving shallow ulcers. Brain shows perivascular hemorrhage in the third ventricle with chromatolysis of ganglion cells. Pancreas. There is variable degree of fat necrosis in the pancreas, ranging from small patches to extensive non-hemorrhagic pancreatitis. This leads to high serum and amylase levels, often with fatty necrosis of the adjacent mesentery. Multiple visceral infarcts caused by ischemia and evidence of venous thrombosis may be found. What is burns? Classify burns. It is a condition due to local effect of dry heat, either due to direct contact with the flame or any heated object like wire, hot metals, or heated glass. In household accidents, burns develop as a result of explosion of cooking stoves or gas cylinders, resulting in ignition of the clothes worn by the victim. Depending on the intensity of spread of either part of the whole of the garment catches fire. Upon contact with the skin surface, the flame produces burns involving the epidermis, dermis, and the deeper structures. Depending on the duration of contact and extent of involvement, burn injuries are classified into 3 degrees. First degree, burn involving only the epidermis. Second degree, burn involving the epidermis, and third degree, burn involving the dermis, and the third degree, involvement of deeper layers of tissue. Classification of burns. Epidermal burns. This type of burns involves the only epidermis and are superficial in nature. It results in reddening, erythema, and blistering without involvement of the dermis of the skin, followed by capillary dilatation and transudation of fluid into the tissues, resulting in swelling. The blisters contain fluid rich in albumin and are covered by white avascular epidermis surrounded by zone of hyperemia. These blisters may resorb and the layers of dermis are peeled off, exposing dark red dermis, replaced by growth from periphery. Blisters are painful because of the involvement of nerve endings and usually heal without leaving a permanent scar. Dermoepidermal burns. Burns involves the whole thickness of the skin including hair follicles, sweat glands and sebaceous gland. Extremely painful as they affect the sensory nerve endings. Heals with resultant scar formation. Deep burns, destruction of deeper tissues varying from damage to the subcutaneous soft tissues, muscles, bones, etc. The burnt areas may be completely charred. They have relatively painless as the nerve endings are completely destroyed. Prognosis depends upon the extent of the body surface involved rather than the degree of burns. First degree burns involving a larger area of body surface is more fatal than a third degree burn with a focal involvement. This is the picture of dermoepidermal burns with extensive charring, and this one infected dermoepidermal burns with sloughing. Deep burns with secondary infection. What is rule of 9? Okay, so here we begin with the very important short note which is asked in examination. Rule of 9. This is a method to calculate the extent of body surface involved in burns. It is useful in assessing the prognosis of a patient. The body surface is divided into 11 parts and each part given a score of 9%. Burns involving 50% or above is invariably fatal and 30% is sufficient to cause death. Rule of palm. In cases where the distribution of burns is scattered, the percentage is calculated by the presumption that the surface area of the person's palm is taken as 1% of the total body surface area. Rule of 9. Head and face 9%, right upper limb 9%, left upper limb 9%, front of chest 9%, front of abdomen 9%, back of chest 9%, back of abdomen 9%, front of right lower limb 9%, front of left lower limb 9%, front of back of right lower limb 9%, back of left lower limb 9%, genitalia 1%, and which makes a total of 100%. This is a diagram of the same. Very important to draw in the examinations. What are the causes of death in burns? Causes of death in burns. Immediate causes of death: suffocation due to inhalation of smoke, carbon monoxide and other irrespirable gases. Primary neurogenic shock, death within a few hours. Secondary shock due to hypovolemia within 24 to 48 hours. It is usually associated with renal failure due to hypoperfusion resulting in acute tubular necrosis. Death due to accidental injuries. Delayed causes of death. Toxemia. It is due to absorption of toxic products from the surface of the body generated during the process of burning. Infections. Prolonged exposure of the burnt skin surface to microorganisms may favor the development of infections. These infections affect other vital systems and lead to meningitis, bronchopneumonia, pericarditis, etc. and death due to septicemia. Few individuals may develop complications like Curling's ulcer, duodenal ulcer due to prolonged bed rest. How do we find out the age of burns injury? Age of the burns can be assessed from the external appearances like erythema, redness, which occurs immediately, vesiccation, which occurs in 2 to 3 hours, exudates begins to dry 24 to 48 hours, dry brown crest. If infected, pus is formed in 2 to 3 days. Superficial slough separates out by 4 to 6 days. Deeper slough separates out within 2 weeks. Then granulation tissue begins to cover the raw areas. Scar is formed after several weeks or months. What are the post-mortem findings in death due to burns? What is pugilistic attitude? Examination of the clothes. For evidence of burns and for presence of any characteristic smell like that of kerosene, petrol or any other combustible substances should be looked for. Clothes which are in close contact with the body gets damaged completely. Synthetic materials like tellurine, nylon may be found closely adherent to the skin surface. Skin surface covered by tight clothing like undergarments are usually scarred from damage if exposure to the fire is for short duration. External findings. If the body is fully burnt at the surface of the skin might have been damaged. If some unburned skin is present adjacent to the damaged skin areas, vital reactions in the form of reddish-brown borders adjoining the burnt areas can be seen. The epidermis may be burnt completely, exposing the underlying dermis, which is usually pink in color, indicating the antemortem nature of the burns. Scalp hair and the body hair are found burnt and singed. Blood-tinged froth may be seen around the mouth and nostrils due to development of pulmonary edema. This is due to the irritation produced by inhalation of hot air. Pugilistic attitude. Universal flexion, boxer's attitude. When the body is exposed to prolonged and sustained heat, it results in contraction of the muscle fibers due to coagulation of muscle proteins. This produces flexions of the joints which stimulate the position of boxer. This is called as pugilistic attitude. This is not ante-mortem sign of burns. A dead body thrown into fire will show this change. Heat ruptures. This is seen in fleshy areas like calf muscles, thighs, etc. when there is a sustained exposure of the body to fire. This can be differentiated from laceration or incised wounds by the absence of blood clots, intact blood vessels, and absence of inflammatory infiltrations, as heat ruptures are postmortem in nature. Internal findings. Blood is usually cherry red if the death has occurred due to inhalation of carbon monoxide. Mucosa of the stomach and duodenum are frequently hyperemic and may show ulcers. Heat hematomas. These are areas of collection of blood clots inside the cranial cavity. It is usually seen over the frontal and occipital regions. The size of the hematoma corresponds to the external damage and charring effect of the skull. Respiratory passage. Soot particles. These are the deposition of burnt carbon particles which are found adherent to the edematous mucosal surface of the respiratory passage. Demonstration of the soot particles over the mucosal surface of respiratory passages up to the secondary bronchioles are diagnostic of antemortem burns. What are the medico-legal considerations involved in cases of death due to burns? What are the signs of antemortem burns? Identity, identity, identity of the deceased. Identity of the deceased in case of burns throw a big challenge. The investigations, remnants of the clothing, other articles, X-rays of the entire body, and dental pattern may help in establishing the identity. Whether burns are antemortem or postmortem, the points in the favor of antemortem are the following. Cutaneous reaction of heat or flame, presence of vital reaction, red flare, red line on the skin, on the intact skin adjacent the burnt area. Blister formation. These blisters contain a serous fluid of albumin and chlorides. Base is inflamed and red with erythematous borders. Postmortem blisters contain traces of albumin and chlorides and more of gas, and the base is dry, hard and yellow. Presence of smoke and soot particles in the respiratory passage. Evidence of the injuries to the respiratory tract by fumes and hot gases. Inhalation of hot fumes causes acute laryngeal edema, resulting in sudden asphyxiation. Elevated levels of carboxyhemoglobin in complete combustion of any organic matter leads to production of carbon monoxide. CO has got high affinity to Hb hemoglobin, resulting in increased levels of carboxyhemoglobin. More than 10% of hemoglobin saturation with carbon monoxide usually indicates that the victim has inhaled CO. However, in chain smokers, the normal level itself is 8 to 10%. Presence of elevated levels of other toxic gases in the blood like hydrogen cyanide, ammonia, nitric oxide, CO2 and H2S are also indicative of antemortem burns. Histological evidence. Histochemical reactions show presence of non-specific esteresis within 45 minutes, leucine aminopeptidase within 2 hours, increase in reaction of alkaline phosphatase within 3 hours, and leukocytic infiltration and staining for DNA and RNA within 6 hours is indicative of the antemortem burns. How to assess the manner of death in burns? Suicidal. Not uncommon. Suicide by burning in domestic environment is much more common among females. Usually some inflammable materials like kerosene is used. At times, superficial burns may be inflicted over the accessible part of the body to make a false accusation against the enemy. And accidental. Majority of the cases occur when the victim is trapped in the burning building or vehicle. Some accidents do occur in the kitchen while cooking. Children, epileptics, old people and grossly intoxicated individuals are the usual victims. Homicidal. Though not common, incidences of homicidal burns are reported worldwide. Killing the victim by some other means and then burn the body to simulate accidental suicidal burns is also regular phenomena. Post-mortem nature of burns include injuries, and finding the real cause of death like throttling will help solve case easily. What is scald? What are the features of scald injury? How will you differentiate burns from scald? Scalds. Scalds. These are injuries caused by moist heat. Hot liquids of temperature above 60 degrees cause scalds. The protection offered by the skin and the short duration of the contact of the hot liquids prevents inward conduction of heat into the deeper layers, and hence generally only the superficial layers of the skin are involved in scalds. However, the extent of scalds greatly depend on the latent heat retention capacity of any liquid. Scalds produced by sticky viscous liquids are very high due to the high degree of penetration of heat. For example, hot tar, syrups, oils, etc. Injuries caused by these liquids are comparatively deeper than the ones caused by the hot water. General features of scald injury. The liquid responsible for scalding may be seen on the clothing and the body. Smell of the liquid may be present. Scalding usually occurs through the intact clothing, and the degree of scald depends upon the permeability of the liquid. Difference between burns and scald. Features: burns and scald. Source of burns: dry heat, scalds wet heat. Clothing: burnt, not affected. Singing of hair: present, absent. Charring and blackening of tissues: present, absent. Nature of injury: present and at and above the level of contact, at and below the level of contact, gradually reducing. Soot particles in respiratory tract: burns present, scalds absent. Carboxyhemoglobin may be present in the blood. In scalds it is absent. Fatality: usually fatal, and the scalds are less fatal. Injury is usually limited to the areas of contact and the more severe at the point of initial contact. Scalding is severe at the point of initial contact and at the places where the liquid has come into contact with the body for a longer duration. As the liquid runs down, the degree of scalding progressively diminishes. Redness appears at once and blistering vesiccation takes place within a few minutes. Vesicles are abundant along the course of the running liquid. There is usually a demarcated edge corresponding to the liquid of contact of the liquid, to the limit of contact of the liquid. The blisters have a hyperemic zone surrounding them. Reddening and swelling over the surface can be made out in the floors of the blister. If the skin over the blisters is removed, the floor appears reddish with serosanguineous discharge. Postmortem blisters contain gas with scanty fluid, which has less proteins and chloride content. All the antemortem reactions like redness and swelling are absent. Features of injuries caused by dry heat like burning of clothes, singing of hair, deposition of the carbon particles on the burnt skin, surface and respiratory passage, and charring of the tissues are absent in scalds. What is respiratory burns? What are the circumstances of scald injury? Respiratory burns. This condition is produced by exposure to the respiratory passage to superheated steam or vapors. Steam or hot air may be inhaled, causing thermal injury to the respiratory tract. During this, there is excessive production of thick tenacious mucus plugs and edema of the mucous membranes, resulting in the obstruction of the airway. This produces death by asphyxia. Exposure of skin over the surface over the face to superheated steam can produce sorening of the skin, which becomes dirty white in color. Circumstances of scald: usually accidental due to splashing of fluid. Children may upset the vessels containing hot liquids or may accidentally fall into the vessels containing hot liquids. They may sometimes suck the spouts of the kettles containing hot milk or water, resulting in severe scalds of the mouth and throat. Boiling water may be thrown into the intention to injure or annoy any individual. Deliberate scalds using hot fluids are common in child abuse. Suicidal scalding is rare because they are extremely painful and moreover do not guarantee death. With that said, thank you.